Good afternoon. It is Saturday, July 25th, and I appreciate you being here on your weekend to talk about the Handshake Challenge, really the 10-day Handshake Challenge that we've been doing over the last 6 days. Today is day 6, and each day we talk through an action item and a specific takeaway that you can do to update your profile and really become ready for your career future. And I also give an added value item, a little extra of something that's along the same lines, but goes a little bit deeper into a specific topic. So today we are talking about the action item of adding skills to your Handshake profile and really adding courses, anything that would showcase the skills we want to add into our profile today. So you can do that during our time together, or you can take a few minutes after our time and add that into your profile. The added value item is I'm going to talk to you about 3 skill types, and I'm curious to know if you know the difference. So I'm going to give a definition of those skill types, and then we'll work through identifying some examples. So in terms of the action items, really just start thinking about the skills that you've gained that you could add to your profile. So when I say skills, this could be, job-specific skills. These could be character skills, or these could be transferable skills. Now, those are the 3 categories or the 3 skill types. But think through your academic record, all of your experiences. Now, this could be research experiences that you've had, maybe in the lab environment. This could be, coursework that you've had. It's the knowledge that you've gained where you've developed skills. Take a moment and think through what you would talk about to a potential employer. Maybe even, let's bring that down a little bit more. What would you talk to your parents or a trusted family member, maybe your best friend? What would you say are your strengths? What would you say are the skills that will help you be successful in your potential career? Take a moment just to think through what comes to mind for you. Okay, so it's likely that as you thought through some of those skills that immediately pop up, that they're likely going to fit into one of these 3 categories, the job skills. Now, these are knowledge-based skills that are based really on specific disciplines. It may be something specific to, a particular job that you've had in the past, a specific subject. So as we think of pharmacy practice, we're going to be thinking of our job-specific skill that relate to pharmacy practice, and I'll give you some examples of those that are specific to pharmacy practice. But maybe you could just, in the chat really quick, think of a job-specific skill that you've gained, even if it's not pharmacy related, that you've gained from a prior experience. Now, something that is very specific to that job that you've been trained to do. And take a moment and write that into the chat as I go on to give some definitions of the other categories. There's also character and adaptable skills. The character and adaptable skills, now these are traits that help someone adapt to their environment, particularly their work environment, and really contribute in how they perform their work. So these are really innate, typically, to who we are. It might be around personality traits, these character traits. It might be how others would describe you. That will likely be categorized into this character or adaptable skill. And so now take another moment and think of how would someone describe you? And write down those traits or adjectives that come to mind. And then the last category is this transferable skill. So actions needed to perform a task, but apply to various work functions and disciplines. Now, these are the skills that most people are not trained on. So It's unlikely that, you know, an employer will sit down and train you on a transferable skill, something that they're going to sometimes expect that you have or that they're desiring that you have, but they're not necessarily doing a training plan and helping you get up to speed on this type of transferable skill. So it's actions that are needed to perform a task, but can apply to many work functions. So let me just check the chat here and see what's come up. If you haven't had a moment to type in your thoughts about, just initial thoughts about job-specific skill, about a prior work experience, doesn't have to be pharmacy related, were you trained to do something very specific? A character skill, how would someone describe you? And a transferable skill, a skill that you've used that's helped you be successful, but that you've used multiple times in multiple situations. Okay. So it looks like I have a chat come through. Okay, so for character skill, perseverance, absolutely. That's a terrific example of a character skill. Yes, this is something that helps you be successful in the work that you do. It's not necessarily specific to a job, but it's something that's unique to you. And it looks like from the chat that you've developed this skill by being an Ironman athlete. So congratulations to you on that. That's amazing. That's very impressive. So that perseverance, that ability to overcome an obstacle and push through, absolutely. So that will help you be successful in your work experiences as well as, you know, competing competitively in the Ironman. Awesome. Any other examples, feel free to type through the chat as we move through. So those technical skills or the job skills, as I was mentioning, these are the things that you're going to be trained to do for a specific role. So these are those technical skills, clinical skills if we're thinking of pharmacy practice. But even if we're not thinking of, you know, pharmacy practice, let me give an example. So if you have worked in the public at all, and you have been, let's just use like a server or hostess or kind of restaurant environment as an example, because many individuals start some of their job training in those examples, and you're working with the public. Let me give an example. So that job skill for that situation, it might be that you're able to, you know, work the cashier. And that is something that you're trained to do. And so that's very specific to that restaurant, to that type of role, right? Whereas a transferable skill in that role might be related to customer service. Customer service is one of those transferable skills that you can learn, you can develop, and it's something that you're going to use very frequently in multiple roles, but it might not be something that they're going to sit and train you on really specifically. And this is a really fine line of really understanding, and it's an important aspect to understand. Employers, for these transferable skills particularly, employers will expect you to have some of these transferable skills and or hire you for these transferable skills because it's needed to perform the job, but they're not always going to train you how to do it. So customer service being that example in that restaurant example of a transferable skill. Okay, so let's back up. Let's go back up to that top of the job skills, the technical skills, the clinical skills. So if we're relating to pharmacy, this is more along the lines of maybe it's that you are able to give an immunization, right? You're able to administer a vaccination. Perhaps it's that you've been trained on the health record, right? The EHR. Maybe it's that you have been trained on how to do an A1C screening. So these are really specific to the role itself. And for pharmacy, it's going to change based on practice setting. It's going to change based upon the type of pharmacist, right, that you pursue to be. So those are examples of those job skills. Now, those are those competencies that says, okay, this person is competent to perform this role, and they're going to screen on them, and that you need to have them, but it's things that they know that they can train you to do. Whereas with a transferable skill, communication, research and planning skills, leadership skills, those are skills that they're going to perhaps expect that you have, or evaluate you through an interview process and through some of the work that they're assessing from your CV and such. They're going to look for these skills. These are actually some of the top skills that employers look for: communication, leadership, being self-driven, being able to problem solve and critical think. There's so many. These are just a few examples, but these are those skills that they're actually like saying, yes, we want to hire you because you have these and you've been able to articulate that you have these skills. And then the character skills are the things that are the extras that help you kind of shape who you are in that work environment. So let's go ahead, and I just want to spend a little bit more time here first before I move on and explaining a little bit more of the transferable skills, because that's where a lot of the juice is as you start looking for employment and securing employment. I just want to draw some attention to this left-hand column here. This is in Handshake. This is a screenshot in your profile where you will add in your skills. So you can add in job-specific skills, these hard skills. You can add in the transferable skills, the soft skills, or any of these character and adaptable skills. Please add them in, because when employers do a search for talent, they're going to likely search by skills. So add all of your skills in, take some time to really reflect on these skills. I want to just take one moment. I'm only going to use an example of research and planning skills. So really, some shape around what that means is to search for specific information, to anticipate future needs and solutions. But as you think through your transferable skills, if you say, yes, I'm a great communicator, if you say, yes, I'm great at research, planning, and organization, really take some time to unpack what that means. Take some time to decide, how have I demonstrated this before? So that you can get a little bit more granular with that definition. Because a lot of times people will say that they have great planning skills, but it's harder to articulate what that means. So maybe it is, hey, I know that in my past experience, I was really great at anticipating what a customer needed. And that helped me be great at that server job, right? And so that's part of that planning skill. That's the overarching skill. Or maybe it's, I'm really great at defining strategies and coming up with a course of action of how to complete it. Now that's a little bit more granular of a way to explain how you're great at planning and organization. Maybe it's that you are really great at imagining alternatives, that you're great at generating ideas or being resourceful, extracting data from information, evaluating and analyzing information. So think through the work that you've done, your past experiences. Come up with these kind of job skills for each experience, the character skills and the transferable skills, and then break them down. And then once you've broken them down, break them down one more time to describe what that means. And it's going to pull out all this really amazing, juicy information of other skills of how that will really be authentic to you and the work that you've done, and help shape how you describe yourself to potential employers. So this is all information, great information that you can put into your profile. You're going to be able to use this maybe on LinkedIn. You'll certainly be able to use this on your CV and in an interview process. So I appreciate your time. We're at 14 minutes right now, so thanks for bearing it with a little bit longer. If you have questions, feel free to put those into the chat. Otherwise, we are finished with day 6 of the 10-day handshake challenge. Okay, so I don't see any questions coming in the chat. Well, let me just back up. I did see something come through. I can get my screen to cooperate with me. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you and take care. I will see you tomorrow on Sunday for day 7. Bye.